What's up, Falcon fans and non-Falcon fans? On today's episode of 2023 7th round Atlanta Falcons NFL Mock Draft 4.0 edition, where this is the last installment I will make. If you guys like this type of content, let me know by hitting that like button. If you dislike this type of content, hit that dislike button. It won't hurt your boy's feelings. If you guys want to share this video with your friends and foes, please do so. And also hit that subscribe button so I can make more amazing Falcon content for you guys in the future. So on that note, let's just get started. With the 8th overall pick in the 2023 NFL Mock Draft, the Atlanta Falcons select Calijah Kancey, D-lineman out of Pitt. First off, let's talk about his quick elite athleticism skills, because those are very important key factors why I think he's worth the 8th overall pick, besides everyone else might be saying, well, he's way too early for that. Doesn't matter. Like Deion Sanders always says, if you can ball, you get the call. What stood out for me when I was watching Kancey's film for the first time was his explosion of off the line to get that first quick step and to already affect the offensive line and to infect the quarterback where he was going to go deep or going sideways. He quickly scrambled and got loss of yardage. That's pretty cool. And he can play in the inside, outside type of situation. So that's a great thing for our new defensive coordinator, because he stated that we're going to be a multiple defense. So we're going to use a 3-4 and a 4-3 depending on the situation, who we're going to face for the opponent. And, you know, he has a high effort pass rusher motor where, yes, he might not get there in the beginning, or he might get there in the beginning but doesn't make the critical sack or a critical down. But when he's there, he has other teammates coming around him to make that play, because he's the one that's getting after the quarterback. He's pressuring the quarterback. He's making a game-changer play, and that's something pretty awesome for a defensive tackle to do. So now let's talk about the stats, because I think that's a good argument to go by why he should be picked with the 8th overall pick, because he played in 11 games. Now, in total snaps, he played 454. Now, for the pass rushing snaps, 275. And for the run stuffing defensive snaps, he played 179 of those. So he gathered 7 sacks, 9 hits, and 30 quarterback hurries. So you could tell that he has that motor I was talking about, his relentlessness, trying to get after the quarterback. So when I was watching a couple of Pitt's games, I didn't really see him take a lot of plays off. So that's a good sign to me, because all Falcons fans should know and realize the reason why we lose so many games, even though our defense holds the offensive players in check in the first down and second downs. So when it comes to third downs and long or third downs and short, they always seem to blunder on that. Because why? The main key reason is because we can't get after the quarterback to affect the pass. So that's a huge reason why we keep blowing leads. So when you get a guy like Kancey, who can challenge anybody when he's going inside with his quickness and using his arm strength against the run and the pass, it makes it a lot harder for the offensive prowess to do their thing, because they can't dictate where you're going. It's the opposite when he's on the field. And if you guys been watching a lot of Pitt's game like I have for a couple hours now, when he's asked to be on one-on-one matchup against the offensive line, he handled his business with flying colors. And also, he can handle himself on double coverage. And that's pretty cool to see, because that means another guy has to completely focus on him as well. So that leaves another defender. Hopefully, that means on paper is that the free defensive player can do whatever he wants to disrupt the offensive play. But otherwise, there are minor weaknesses in his game, and mostly because of his height. But even still, he's still a fantastic pick in my opinion. With the 44th overall pick in the NFL Mock Draft, the Atlanta Falcons select Keon White, edge rusher out of Georgia Tech. As a huge Georgia Tech fan, I could guarantee that he is a fantastic edge rusher. So first off, he came out from Old Dominion back in 2017 through 2020, and then he transferred to Georgia Tech in 2021 through 2022, and in his 2021's grand campaign, unfortunately, he missed 8 games because he broke his ankle. So in 2022, he redeemed himself by collecting 7.5 sacks, 4 quarterback hits, and 30 quarterback hurries, and 1 pass deflection. So he was all over the field by putting his hand on the dirt to be asked to go after the quarterback or to stop the run. And he was also asked to cover a lot of people down the field, and he did it pretty good enough where you don't think that his size would be able for him to catch up with these smaller, quick running backs or receiver, because he has a 6'5 frame, 285 pounds, but he has speed to boot, because it shows it on tape that he has over 41 pressures that dramatically changes how the offense is going to attack the defense, because even though he might not get stats, he still makes a lot of plays where the quarterback messes up or whatever they were trying to do on that certain play does not work properly. So that's a great pick in my opinion. With the 75th pick in the NFL mock draft, the Atlanta Falcons select Henry To'oTo'o, linebacker out of Alabama. So let's just quickly talk about his weakness, because they're very obvious if you watch some tape on him, especially when he takes bad angles to try to get after the running back. When he messed that up, it gives the running back a way open gash, a hole to go down to gain more yards than he should have. He doesn't really pass rush a lot because Alabama doesn't ask him to, and he's really bad on man-to-man coverage when it comes to certain plays like cross routes, because it's hard for him to angle and try to get after the wide receiver. But he has a lot of good positives that the Atlanta Falcons fans should understand, that he is fluent in zone coverage, and the reason why he's so good at it because he understands the full capacity of how to play a zone coverage defense. Also, this is a huge bonus for his IQ test when it comes to the linebacking position. He played in the SEC for 4 years, with 2 years in Tennessee and then 2 years with Alabama. That gives him an advantage because he's already adept in playing in a high level NFL talent of defense already right off the bat. When it comes to stopping the run, and when he clearly sees where the running back is going, he can go through traffic with ease and tackle them there without any yardage. That's what he's really good at. So coaching and listening are very important keys when anybody's trying to draft these young men, because you want them to really grasp and understand the difficulty and the complex of the playbook. And if they can't handle that, they're not going to see a lot of times on the field. It doesn't matter where you're drafted. If you don't have that IQ test of the football knowledge, you're not going to make it anywhere on the field. That's why I really like Henry's game, because he's very patient. He understands where his positions need to go. He doesn't step out of line, and that's really important that I think a lot of Falcon fans and non-general Falcon fans don't really understand. He's a true leader. You want to make sure that he understands where everybody needs to go, where his position is. Yes, sometimes he might not win the battles, but he never gets confused on where he's supposed to go. With the 110th pick in the 2023 NFL mock draft, the Atlanta Falcons select A.T. Perry, wide receiver out of Wake Forest. So already his height is 6'3", his weight is 198 pounds, his hands are fantastic because in the past 2 seasons he eclipsed over 1,000 yards each. So in 2021 he caught 71 receptions for 1,293 yards and 15 touchdowns. In 2022 he caught 81 receptions with 1,096 yards and 11 total touchdowns. And the reason why he was so successful for the Deacons in those 2 years, because he mastered his flexibility. So what do I mean by that? He understands how to change directions when he gets those 3 first steps in. He uses his hands properly to create open space for him to change on a dime without any interference. He knows how to properly adjust his body mass when he's going to take on some particular angles. So it makes it easier for him to catch the ball in tight window coverages. He's a very balanced wide receiver if you really look at his game, and I know Desmond Ridder would appreciate a guy like that because he can help him out in a lot of situations when he's doing the short routes where he can do a slant, a flat, a curl, and a comeback, because Perriman can use his big frame to outshine any defender. So that means Desmond Ridder can give him the better chance to lob it up to make those contested catches. He's also very good in tricking the defenders to making sure he gets full wide open position when he's doing those intermediate routes. And let's not forget, he can do a pretty good job when it comes to the deep threat, even though he does not have extreme speed, but what he does have the IQ knowledge of where he needs to go with his first step to get a little bit more out of reach when the corner just slips up, and so that's why he gets wide open spaces and he can block pretty well. With the 113th pick in the 2023 NFL mock draft, the Atlanta Falcons select Jackson Kirkland, guard out of Washington. So back in 2021, he was not that great of a player. He got beat way too often. He didn't use his hands properly. He backpedaled way too often. It didn't give him the right proper balance. But in 2022, he definitely improved on all cylinders because he went back for his senior year. And that's a good thing because a lot of times these kids just rush into going to the NFL but really don't understand or how to master their craft when they're in college. So then when they do go to the NFL, so, they can improve significantly more and get more opportunities to be on the field. So what he did was fantastic, where he improved on his hands mechanics, balancing the angles where he has to go against the defender, where he doesn't get beaten when he's going underneath or going over the top or going sideways, where he can handle himself stern when he's using his front form. Fantastic job. He's also capable of run blocking a lot more smoothly now. He's more efficient in space, and what I really like about his tape is visualing where he needs to go onto the second level, where you don't get beaten off your blocks and lose more yardage than you should. With the 224th pick in the 2023 NFL Mock Draft, the Atlanta Falcons select Evan Hall, running back out of Northwestern. He is a scat back type of running back, so basically a Christian McCaffrey, but without the Christian McCaffrey part. But you get the visual of what he could be, because he has good ball visions, good hands, good route running. He could break through the tackles. He doesn't get touched a lot, and when he does, he still tries to fight for yardage, so that's what I like about it. His acceleration speed is off the chain. I think there are very comfortable lanes where he can take advantages down the field, because he's so shifty that it's hard to accurately pinpoint his location. Because of his small frame, his 5'8", he uses that to his advantage, not as a disadvantage. Let's not get it twisted now. Yes, I put him in the 7th round, but realistically, I can actually see him being drafted in the 4th through the 7th round, because running backs are not treated as respect like they used to back in the past. Basically, they are a dime in a dozen, that's the saying goes. But I would never underestimate a player, because that's how you usually lose the battle, and then eventually you lose the war. So on that note, I think this is a great pickup. With the 225th pick in the 2023 NFL Mock Draft, the Atlanta Falcons select Dante Stills, D-lineman out of West Virginia. And the amazing thing is he can play in a 3 technique, a 2 wide technique, a 4 technique, and can also be on the edge where he can play a 3-4 or a 4-3 base packages. He is so versatile in his game that since he's been playing for West Virginia back in 2018 through 2022, that's a lot of information he gathered over those years at the Big Ten Conference. And it shows every year how consistently he has been in each season, and that's why this is a hell of a pick for the Atlanta Falcons. In fact, this is a huge steal for the Atlanta Falcons. In just alone, back in 2022, his stats were off the charts, with 5 sacks, with 4 quarterback hits, with 21 quarterback hurries, with 2 forced fumbles, and 9 tackles for losses. So you can tell that he's dominant. He's always going to play till the whistle is over, and he doesn't give up any type of plays, because he's always on the field on every single down, and that speaks louder than words. And that's what the Atlanta Falcons desperately need, when sometimes when players get tired, he can step in, step out, and always shine when there's going to be a certain type of packages that the Falcons need someone to accomplish, and he's that dude. So I'm very confident enough in saying that he would definitely could be a starter for us. So on that note, if you guys agree with me or disagree with me on these picks, let me know in the comment section below. I would like to hear what you guys have to say. So on that note, what do Falcons do? Rise up. Until the next episode, show love and peace to the world, and peace.